Once again, welcome dear students for Standard 6 General Science. Students, today we will be doing with chapter number 4, Disaster Management. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. Students, before starting with the chapter, let us understand what are the learning objectives. So students, you will be learning about disaster, the types of disaster, what is disaster management, the remedial and preventive measures during disasters, then what is first aid. Now students, can you tell that what events do you see in this picture? Yes, you can see earthquake, drought, floods, fire, storm and volcanic eruption. Now the next question, what would you have done in these situations? Yes, so during disasters like earthquakes, you would run immediately out to open grounds, and also during an earthquake, if you happen to be in a room, you would take shelter under a strong surface like a table. This is because a table would prevent the debris from falling on you. And during droughts, you would try to save water by using it more cautiously and not wasting it. And during floods, you would seek shelter on higher floors wherein water levels would reach soon. And you would prefer staying indoors and avoid traveling through waterlogged areas. And during fire, you would leave the area and call the fire brigade. In case of any injuries, you would call the ambulance. And during storm, you would stay indoors. You would at once unplug all the electrical appliances, and also you would keep yourself updated about the warnings from the government authorities. And during a volcanic eruption, you would evacuate the area as soon as possible. Now students, the third question, why do these events occur? Yes, earthquake occurs due to tremendous amount of energy which is released due to movements in the interior of the earth. Drought, it is a situation where rainfall is less than average. Then floods, flood refers to the submerging of normally dry land by an overflow of water, and the constant rainfall at a particular location results in overflow of a river which causes floods. Then the fire. Fire may be caused due to deliberate or negligent human action. Then storms. A storm is a disturbance caused in the normal condition of the atmosphere. Here, the formation of high and low air pressure belts in the atmosphere causes changes in weather which result in the strong winds. Then the volcanic eruption, it is due to high pressure, the molten rock, we call it as magma, rises through the vent in the earth's crust and erupts onto the surface of the earth. This phenomenon is called as volcanic eruption. Now students, let us first discuss a few dreadful incidents that have occurred in the past. On 30th September 1993, earthquake occurred in Latur district, that is in Killari, which killed thousands of people. Then on 26 January 2001, earthquake in Gujarat led to destruction of entire Bhuj village. On 26th July 2005, due to heavy rains, which led to floods in Mumbai and took toll of many lives. On 30th July 2014, landslide destroyed entire village of Malin, which is in Pune district. On 25th April 2015, Earthquake occurred in Nepal, which killed large number of its citizens, tourists, etc. And in November 2015, many people died in Tamil Nadu due to flooding caused by heavy rains. So students, due to these incidents, we can define disaster as a sudden event that causes large scale damage to life, property, and social aspects of a nation or society is called as disaster. Now students, let us understand what are the types of disasters. So disasters can be classified into the following two major types, that is natural disasters and man-made disasters. Now first let's see what are natural disasters. Now these are sudden events caused by natural phenomenon over which humans have very negligible or no control on it. For example, floods, earthquake, lightning, cyclone, storm, volcanic eruptions, etc. What are man-made disasters? These are disasters that occur due to human interference. These occur due to deliberate or negligent human action. For example, terrorist attacks, communal riots, fires, accidents, bomb explosions, etc. And students, it should be noted that the irresponsible human behavior may also indirectly lead to natural disasters. For example, drainage systems that are choked due to improper disposal of garbage cause the water to overflow on the road. Mining and construction of big dams can lead to earthquakes, etc. Now students, let us see what is earthquake. Earthquake is a type of natural calamity. It is caused due to tremendous amount of energy released due to the movements in the interior of the earth. And this energy forms a wave known as a seismic wave, which causes the movements of the earth's surface like tremors, shaking and cracking up, etc. Such type of vibrations in the earth's crust can be referred to as an earthquake. Besides the natural factors, human activities like excessive mining, construction of big dams, that is the stored water creates an extra pressure in the micro cracks and fissures in the ground, may also trigger an earthquake. Now the effects of an earthquake is that earthquake leads to massive loss of life and property. It leads to destruction of infrastructure such as houses, roads, bridges, various historical monuments, etc. And also, during earthquake, rivers tend to change the course of the flow. Now let us learn about floods. Flood is also a type of natural calamity. Flood refers to the submerging of land by an overflow of water, and constant rainfall at a particular location results in the overflow of rivers, which causes floods. And due to heavy rainfall in a particular area, the water drainage system fails, resulting in choking of gutters and drainage lines. This water eventually overflows on the roads, surrounding areas, and even the nearby houses. Now let's see what are the effects of floods. Flood leads to massive loss of life and property. It results in soil erosion. This is because the fertile soil layer gets eroded by large amount of fast flowing water. Flood also leads to loss of livestock and destruction of standing crops. Flood water gets mixed with sewage water. Such contaminated water leads to spread of waterborne diseases and other epidemics. Now let us study about storms. Storm is a type of natural calamity. It is a disturbance caused in the normal condition of the atmosphere. Here, the formation of high and low air pressure belts in the atmosphere causes changes in weather, which results in strong winds. Now, students, let us see what are the effects of storms. Storm leads to massive loss of life and property. Storms are usually accompanied by heavy rainfall and lightning. This adversely affects the normal functioning of life, for example, disruption of transport and communication, power cut, etc. And also some of the effects of storms in the regions where they occur are as follows, like trees are uprooted, standing crops are destroyed, etc. Wildlife and their habitat are disturbed, even soil erosion occurs. Now students, let us study about forest fires. Forest fire is an uncontrolled fire that spreads with tremendous speed over a large area in a forest, pasture or grassland. It may arise due to natural causes as well as man-made causes. So the natural causes here, the forest fire occurs due to very dry and hot climate, and in man-made causes, when people visit forests for camping, trekking or other purposes, they light a fire to cook, use it as campfire or to find their way through the dark. Such type of fire, if not extinguished properly, can lead to forest fire. Now, what are the effects of forest fire? Forest fire causes air pollution and also it causes damage to natural wealth and biodiversity. Now, students, let us learn about disaster management. Now, what is disaster management? When a disaster occurs, taking steps to prevent those disasters, then making plans to face disasters and developing the capacity for that is called as disaster management. Emergency planning and management is necessary to reduce the intensity of the damage caused by the disaster. And for disaster management, there are contact numbers, like for police, you have to dial 100. For fire brigade, you have to dial 101. For ambulance, you have to dial 102. And for disaster management cell, you have to dial 108. Now students, there are institutes which work for disaster management. So in the year 2005, the Government of India established the National Disaster Management Authority, which works towards the planning and implementation of disaster management work. Apart from this, there are many other non-governmental organizations, that is NGOs, that work towards the welfare of the society, for example, rehabilitation after such disasters. Now students, let us understand some remedies as well as precautions that can be taken during or before a natural or a man-made disaster occur. So during earthquakes, if one is inside the house, hide below a solid table. During floods, evacuate low-lying areas as water fills these areas quickly. During landslides, the areas near hills are at utmost danger, thus take shelter away from the hills. During storms, remain indoors and unplug all the electrical appliances as lightning and heavy rains may cause sparks leading to short circuits. And in case of fires, use a fire extinguisher. Call fire brigade immediately. And keep yourself updated by watching TV, listening to the radio for warnings issued by the government sources such as Meteorological Department. Visit the Meteorological Department website, that is www.imd.gov.in, for the same. Do not spread or even believe in rumors. Make use of battery operated radios and torches. And post happening of an event, take shelter in relief camps, as all essential things such as food, clothing, medicines, drinking water, etc. are available at relief camps. Now students, let us understand what is first aid. Alertness and immediate action is necessary when a disaster strikes, be it natural disaster or a man-made disaster. And also, effective management and proper use of remedial and preventive measures helps in reducing the intensity of loss. Thus, during an emergency, in order to save lives, it is necessary to give some immediate preliminary treatment, that is first aid, even before the medical treatment arrives. So we can say that first aid is the immediate preliminary treatment before the medical treatment arrives. Now students, let us see some of the first aid protocols. Now if the person is bleeding, let him or her sit or lie down comfortably. Then place the bleeding part at a height, that means it should be above the level of heart. Why is it so? It is because to restrict the blood flow. Then you have to clean the wound with water and antiseptic. Now students, let us see the first aid for burns and scalds. Now burns and scalds can be classified as minor burns and serious burns. So now first let us see the first aid for minor burns. Firstly, wash the injured part with water or hold it under water. Then give the person some water to drink. Clean the wound with an antiseptic solution using a cotton swab. Then apply ointments that are specially prescribed for burns. You remember, do not apply oil ointments. Then cover the wound using dry dressing. Now let us see the first aid for the serious burns. First, you have to calm down the victim. Then use sterilized cloth to cover the wound. If easily possible, remove jewelry, shoes, etc. from the body immediately. And remember, you should not touch or burst the blisters on the skin. Do not remove the cloth stuck to the region of burnt skin. Do not apply oily ointments. And in case the person is conscious, give him, her water to drink. However, strictly avoid tea, coffee or any of the stimulating drink. Then get medical help immediately. Now the first aid for sunstroke. But before that, what is sunstroke? Sunstroke is said to occur when one feels dizzy or becomes unconscious due to continuous working in sun for a long time. Constant working in sun leads to loss of water and minerals from the body, leading to sunstroke. Now, what are the first aid for sunstroke? First, take the patient to a cool or shady place. Then sponge the entire body with cold water and place a cloth soaked in cold water on the neck. Make the patient drink lots of fluid like juice or water. If the patient feels like vomiting, make him or her lie on the abdomen with head turned to one side and in severe cases, get medical help or shift the patient to the hospital. Now let us study about snake bite. Students, out of the 2000 species of snake, only cobras, vipers, kraits, and sea snakes are poisonous. That means from the above information, we can conclude that all snake bites are not fatal. Now, what do you mean by fatal? Fatal means causing death. Then usually the fear of snake bite causes severe psychological shock to the victim that may lead to death. If one comes across a snake, immediately get in touch with a Sarpa Mitra rather than killing the snake at once. Now students, let's see the first aid for snake bite. First, wash the wound with water. Then help the victim calm down. Then seek medical help immediately. Now students, note that tying a cloth tightly above wounds of snake bites is an ineffective and dangerous method. Now students, let's learn about dog bite. Now dog bite puts a person at a risk of infection through blood leading to a disease known as rabies. Now students, let us see what is the first aid for dog bite. Now the first aid is you have to clean the wound thoroughly with a solution of potassium permanganate or any other antiseptic. Then cover the wound with a clean and dry cloth. Then visit a doctor immediately and get an anti-rabies vaccine. So students, this was the end of the chapter. Now let's see which are the points to be remembered. Now you have to remember that what is disaster? A sudden calamity is known as disaster. Disasters can be of two types, natural disaster or man-made disaster. And alertness and immediate action are necessary on such occasions. And effective disaster management and use of remedial measures can help to reduce the losses during these disasters. And every person should know about safety precautions and the first aid. Now students, this is the assignment for you all. You have to answer these questions. The first question for the assignment is, what are the emergency contact numbers of the following? A. Police control room. B. Fire brigade. C. Nation ambulance. D. National level single emergency number for disaster relief. The second question for the assignment is, you have to classify the following disasters as man-made or natural. Fire, earthquake, leakage of chemical gases, storms, floods, tsunami, bomb explosion, collapse of a building, war, forest fire. Now students, you have to classify these disasters into man-made disasters and natural disasters. And the third question for the assignment is, you have to find out what a first aid kit or box contains. Thank you, dear students.